Oh, that is cool, man.
Because when I was doing it previously, I'd worked out that it's auto-focusing, but it wasn't working, the autofocus. So I had to physically keep moving the monitor backwards and forwards. So it's like, well, that's not ideal. So I've actually built the weirdest tripod ever. So this is like testing it. So
gotcha.
Very strange. So I don't know if I'm not looking directly at you. That's because I've got a tripod stuck right in front of my monitor. You're hiding.
Well, I thought about that as I was setting up my shot, because I was, like, as I'm looking at the camera, it's close to me. So, I mean, how cross-eyed do I look during the podcast?
Oh, you look perfect, because you've got the perfect setup. I'm not quite used to webcams yet.
I got you, man.
So whereas normally I should be looking at you on the monitor, which you're over there. If I do that, then I look like this.
Right.
So I've got to get used to somehow looking at you in the webcam.
Gotcha.
Whilst I can actually see you behind the webcam.
Gotcha.
So it's very strange. So when you were typing messages before on Skype, I had to keep going like this to look behind. Oh yes, he says hi.
Right.
So I've watched a ton of stuff. I don't know if you've watched lots.
Yeah. And a lot of old stuff too. So, which I was reading somewhere that, and I don't know how you are with your anxieties. My anxieties come and go at times, but
same.
It said that anyone with anxieties prefers to rewatch old stuff because we can relax while watching it versus not knowing if it's worth our time or not. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because it's like, if you go, right, tonight I'm going to watch Predator, you know it's going to be a good film because it's Predator.
Right.
Whereas if you watch something like, I don't know, Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Yes.
Which I have just finished watching within the past half hour. It would have been nice to know if that was good or not before I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes watching it.
I was kind of befuddled in that I guess I didn't know what it was going to be. I mean, hey, it's a story about Napoleon, a movie about Napoleon, but I guess I don't know. I guess I was expecting more Braveheart and battling and stuff, and it really wasn't. I mean, like, he made a poor life choice in his wife, and I mean, I don't know what else I took away from that,
It's like, I've just done, I mean, I put on Facebook, I'm now watching Napoleon. And the comments, there isn't a nice comment to say about Napoleon in there. Everybody's like, it's dull. And I'm not one of these, stop watching it then because it's dull and people don't like it. I'll watch it anyway.
Right.
Shout out to the Marvels. Great film. Well, fun film. And Napoleon was dull. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, there's a lot of good things to say about it. It's Ridley Scott. I'll pretty much watch anything that Ridley Scott does. I'm not expecting every film to be an Alien or a Blade Runner or a Gladiator.
Right.
So there's that. Joaquin Phoenix, I thought, was really good in it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody complaining that they should have hired a dialect coach. No, they shouldn't. I don't want people putting accents on because that's what pantomimes are for. And we would just it would take us out if Joaquin's like, hee-haw, and French talking and whatnot. Don't do it. So I'm fine with that. The battle scenes were amazing.
Yeah.
The one on the ice.
We knew they would be, right?
We knew they would be. There just wasn't enough of them and they weren't long enough. The cinematography was good when you could see what was going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was like way too dark. Don't watch this film in the daylight, for the love of God. You won't see anything. Watch in a dark room. It's just, there was a lot of stuff that was just, can we just get to the next battle, please?
Right.
It wasn't great. I'm glad I've watched it. I don't feel the need to ever rewatch it again, unfortunately. And I know they're bringing out a 3.5 hour cut on Apple at some point.
No way, really?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Right.
People want to watch it, not a problem.
Yeah.
I am also not going to spend 5 hours online for the next 3 weeks bitching and moaning about how much I didn't like Napoleon.
Right.
I'll watch another film tomorrow, and I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
So I'm all right.
Yeah. Do you think that, because, I mean, you and I grew up with the whole shooting day for night thing, Bonanza, the Westerns, where obviously the sun's out. Those are some strong shadows. And then James Cameron, and I'm sure there was somebody before him, but I mean, he kind of perfected that blue light this is night. You can still see everything, but
Yeah.
obviously it's night. And now you are correct, man. I mean, it's just like you're under the cover of darkness. Really? Yeah, I can't see anything. So, do you think that's what moviegoers need now? Do you think that being in a pitch black movie theater, you could have seen a little more? I mean, like I'm with
Yeah.
you. It's very dark.
I think if you watched that on a cinema screen and you were in a dark room,
Yeah.
100% you would see more, because A, the screen's
Right.
bigger, and B, it's you know
Right.
it's only a few feet away.
Right.
Watching it at home, I think you would be okay if you've got a big
Right.
screen and you've got your lights off and your phone's
Right.
not there, and your curtains are
Right.
shut and stuff like that. But it was too dark. But yeah,
Yeah.
you could still tell the cinematography was very, very good. It's just in some scenes, it was like, that's kind of the wrong choice. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've watched today. I've watched a whole bunch of other stuff over the past few weeks. Old stuff, lots of old stuff, a couple of new bits, but Napoleon's my newest one, but meh.
Yeah. I know how you are with, you try to, like have one streaming service and stream everything you could possibly want in the free trial. And then you go on to the next one. And that's got to be disappointing when it is such a long movie that was meh, and then, so what did you miss by watching that? What else would you have seen on Apple,
On Apple, I'm not sure. I think the next one I'm waiting for is Argyle, which is also an Apple film. Again, people have bashed that, but I haven't seen it, and I'll watch it and I'll make my own mind up. The thing that excites me about Apple Plus at the minute is Masters of the Air.
Yes, which we've been watching that. Yeah,
I'm watching week to week. I'm fully up to date on it. I believe there's 2 more episodes, and then I think we're done.
Yeah.
So I've really, really enjoyed that. I started off watching Silo. And then I got distracted by watching other things, and then I realized, oh, hang on a minute, I forgot I was watching Silo. So I've not actually gone back to that because I didn't miss it until I realized I was not watching it. So so what have I missed? I'm going to sit down. Annette's going over to see her mum tomorrow, so she's out until Sunday. So I've got a couple of days. I'm just going to sit down and watch lots of 90-minute movies.
Yeah.
Loads of them. I don't know which ones yet, but I'm just going to go, how long's that? I'm going to watch it. Because with Napoleon, I could have watched 2 films.
Yeah.
I got 2 reviews, so I'm way behind on my reviews.
Well, I was surprised. One of the movies that I went back and rewatched that I haven't seen, I don't think I've seen it since I saw it in theater, was Sharky's Machine. Burt Reynolds.
Oh, good movie.
And I remember the ending being a little different, but that's fine. I mean, that's what time will do. I'm not going to, throw that Mandela effect crutch in there, but it was good, man. I mean, there was a whole nother layer of it, because when I saw it in high school, it was, it was what it was. It was fine. But I don't know that I was so into drama, and I didn't see the love story being as deep as it was. Like, this guy fell in love with this woman just at not love at first sight, but I mean, still, from building to building, he fell in love with this lady. And I mean, so that was good. But I was surprised that was 2 hours versus an hour and a half.
Really? I've seen Sharky's Machine for many, many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Rachel, what was it? Is it Rachel Ward? What was her name? The lead in that.
I think Rachel.
Anyway.
It could have been Rachel Ward, because she was around Against All Odds, I think, as well. That was around a similar time, wasn't it? So that would be her.
Yeah, that was back when she was popular, and then she did that. I'm marooned on an island with all these little boys, and I think it was actually her actual husband was in it as a love interest, trying to find her because shipwreck something. I don't know, but after that, man, I mean, like, she just kind of disappeared. Maybe she's doing indie. I don't know. So
it's weird. I'm always fascinated by where these people go. They're in a, they have the star shines bright, and then you don't see them for years.
Yeah.
And I do like to sort of troll the internet sometimes and go, what happened to the kid out of The Last Action Hero and stuff like that? Where is he? What's he doing now? So
what
things
did
like
happen?
that.
I can't. Like you may have looked it up.
I can't remember, but it is on my website. I did do an article, what happened to Austin O'Brien, and I did find out he's fine. He's okay. I think he's got he runs a wedding photography business or something now.
Yeah.
So he stepped away from the screen and gone behind the camera, and he's doing all event coverage and stuff like that, if I remember correctly enough. But
yeah,
I'm always
there's a lot of people that have done that. I can't remember the one beautiful lady who was in one of. Oh man, I'll think about the movie. But anyway, she's married to Ryan Gosling now,
Wow.
and anyway, but yeah, I mean, she chose to just be home and raise kids.
Yeah.
So, and really, I mean, with the way Hollywood is now, I can't say that I blame anybody for saying, yeah, you know what, I'm done. I've had my limelight. And I think back in the day, you made more money off residuals than they do now with all the streaming networks and all the unions and strikes and all that stuff. So
I think the funniest one I ever did was two. One, whatever happened to the guy from Children of the Corn? You know, the red-haired guy, Courtney Gaines. Right. He never stopped working. He was in tons of films, but I wrote that article and then he's been on my podcast. So I'm like, I didn't mention I'd written an article about what happened to Courtney. Right. And then the other one was what happened to Cynthia Rothrock, the 80s, 90s action star. Again, she's still working. She's all over the internet now, raising money for a new film called Black Creek and everything. So yeah. Sometimes we think they disappear, but they really haven't. They've just pulled into a different lane than the one we're tearing down watching all the things that we watch. So they're still out there. So that's quite nice.
Yeah. And it's nice seeing that they have lived a good life versus the Drew Barrymores who struggled with drugs and all that stuff, you know, because they hit fame early. Yeah. And then got saved by Keanu Reeves. I think that's a true tale. I don't know, something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. That is the sort of thing that Keanu would do. So we'll let Keanu have that one in case he's not the nice enough person already. He could be a little bit nicer by saving Drew Barrymore.
There you go.
So what have you watched?
Oh my goodness!
Whether it's new, whether it's old, I've got a bunch of old ones that I'm going to tear through.
It's funny. You were talking about starting Silo and then getting distracted by something else, and then you don't realize that you've left something behind. Now, The Last Airbender on Netflix is phenomenal. If you watch the comic book, not the comic book, the animated series, but not. I mean, like, I just love that. So when M. Night did his version, which I just thought was awful, for two numerous reasons. I'm not even gonna get on that soapbox. You know, I think a lot of people like me were apprehensive about what Netflix was gonna do, but it's awesome. But we're only 3 episodes into it, and you know how it is when you're having to wait, like for Masters of the Air, you're waiting till the next week to see the next episode, and Netflix just says, "Here, buddy, you've got it all. Here's the entire season." And Michelle and I have been so distracted by Yellowstone that we'll catch an episode of Masters of the Air and then we're back in Yellowstone for 6 episodes. I think we're in season 4 now, but it's just solid. And everything is so beautiful, man. We've been to Utah but never been to Montana, so maybe that's next on the list. Although we did go to the beach last weekend. So
nice. I'm guessing the weather was very nice, was it?
When we got there, it's my cousin's condo, and when we got there, I knew there were key codes. They've done away with all the humans, and so now there's key codes. So to get in the building, you press this one key code, and then you go up to the room and you press another sequence to get into the room. I'm sure it saves money, but it was raining with 50-mile-per-hour winds, and I'm out there with my iPad trying to, trying to wipe off the rain and being glad for the quality of Apple products, of course. And I'm wiping the rain off. I'm like, what in the hell? So somebody came up, and I mean, Michelle's trying to help me, and it's like, is it that number? And all the numbers were in bold, with the exception of the number we needed to access the building with. So anyway, so somebody came up and was like, "Hey, we're going in. You two look like, you wouldn't kill people." So they let us in. And then
and you killed them. Spoiler. End of story.
We won't talk about that, man. But, plastic wrap in the trunk always comes in handy. So
yes.
But yeah, so Masters of the Air. You were talking about what you were watching earlier today. Every Thursday, I look forward to another episode of Halo that's in season 2, Paramount Plus. Yep. And so I've been very focused on work, both what my main job as well as the other work that I'm doing, promotions and stuff, and classes I'm taking and stuff like that. So while I'm eating breakfast, I'm watching 15 minutes, and then I stop, and then with lunch there was another 15, 20 minutes. It's good stuff. I like the fact that if it's not like any character is sacred, except of course for Master Chief, but these, I mean, like, some of these people, you think, man, it's so good. Oh, damn, he just got shot. So he just blew up, whatever. And so, yeah, man, it's, I like shows that are willing to be belligerent with their characters if it makes sense to the story.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Sharky's Machine. I watched Looker, which I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that.
No, I've
yet.
not. I do have that. I've not watched it yet. It's on my list. Yeah.
And so really enjoyed that, and it's so relevant for everybody who is watching your podcast, the 1.5 million viewers. Check out Looker. I mean, like, it's just in this day and age where we're talking about AI and identities being used to sell something, and they're not even, it's not really them. And so anyway, so Looker is good. Did you ever see Runaway with Tom Selleck?
Oh, I love Runaway. That's amazing, with those bullets that go around corners. And yeah, I love that movie. I've seen it since probably the late 80s.
Yeah.
But Gene Simmons, I remember him. He's the villain.
It is. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Good movie.
And it's funny. I thought that was the only movie that Gene Simmons had been a bad guy in. But then I was waiting on that scene where he wants the police to find him, and he licks his hand and leaves his handprint on the telephone booth. Yeah. And then he puts a grenade in somebody's mouth and pulls the pin. And that never happened in Runaway. Turns out he's been a bad guy in another movie where he was a terrorist.
So, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't remember. Anyway, it's Rutger Hauer's in it. I thought I wrote that down, but I guess not. But yeah, Rutger Hauer is the hero. I mean, which, back in the day, he certainly was a leading man. And then, I guess he was still a leading man when he did Hobo with a Shotgun. So
he was. Yep. He was indeed.
But you think about Michael Crichton writing and directing these movies and what a futurist he was.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, and I don't remember watching it, but there's something called Terminal Man, where a man has a computer chip put into his head. And it's to help him do something I can't remember, but to help him control seizures. But instead, it makes him enjoy murdering people. So,
wow.
So I mean, we have Elon Musk.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
Elon, don't do it, please.
Yeah, man. Not saying that Elon Musk has that chip, because I don't want you getting sued, man. I don't want your 1.5 million viewers to be cut down, to like 1 million
to like
a quarter.
half.
So,
yeah.
Right. I don't want to insult the chips. Plus, the AI is listening. That Cyberdyne is just
AI is
rising.
Is always listening as I stare into my wired webcam, which is connected to God knows what. So you've watched that. I've rewatched the original Mad Max because I've been.
Which version did you watch? Did you watch the one where it's Mel Gibson's voice, or it's a dub?
Yeah. No, I don't know watching a dub. No, it was weird because for quite a few years that was the only version you could get here in the UK and probably in the US.
Right.
And then, but we've become so familiar with how Mel Gibson sounds. Then, if you watch the dubbed one, because I put on Facebook that I'd watched it, so I put the DVD in, went to language settings. There's a setting there saying original Australian language. I'll have that one, please. Put it on. And then I put on Facebook, I didn't watch the dubbed one. And somebody came back and said, there's a dubbed one. And he was quite horrified. So I took a little video clip of it, of the dubbed one, put it on Facebook, and it's dreadful. It just sounds awful. But back in the day, nobody would have known if you didn't know what Mel Gibson sounded like.
Yeah.
I don't think people wouldn't be too bothered.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, it felt weird. It felt like a Godzilla movie, just, that kind of a dub. And what was the one that Schwarzenegger was in? Hercules
in New York. Hercules in New York. That is a rough film.
It is rough. And then seeing Arnold stand there and go, that's right. Okay. And, it's just, anyway. Did you see his Super Bowl ad?
Arnold Strong, he was credited in there. He wasn't even credited as Schwarzenegger in that one.
Yep, because Schwarzenegger was too long. And
Yeah.
who would that would hold him back from being successful
Of course
because
it would.
Schwarzenegger was so big that to be a marquee name, no. And then down in the credits that are all like stacked, just too big, man. Yeah.
But yes, I saw the Super Bowl ad. It was great.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I
So yeah, we may have
watched.
talked about that last time. I can't remember.
I think so. There might be a couple of things
Yeah.
that I go, I've watched this, and just tell me to shut up if we've already talked about it. Yeah, I watched the original Australian Mad Max, of course. I also watched Colors from 1988 with Sean Penn and Robert Duvall and Tony Todd and Grant L. Bush and loads of people. The cast in Colors,
Wow.
but LA gangs. So many people in that. It's crazy cast.
Wow. That I haven't thought about that probably since it hit the movie theater. Wow, man.
Good film. Still holds up. Some of the music's a little bit like, New Jack City type 80s sort of stuff. Neil and I were nearly getting into an argument on Facebook. So basically the reason I wanted to watch Colors is one of my Facebook friends is a guy called Grant L. Bush, who he's been in Die Hard, Lethal Weapon 2, Colors, License to Kill. So I was chatting to him in the middle of February, and I said, you know what, in March, I'm going to make it Grant L. Bush Festival. I'm going to watch loads of films. And he liked it, and he's like smiling and stuff. I thought, you know what, I'm going to actually watch a few films. So I watched Lethal Weapon 2, which is still great. Love that movie. Yeah. And then I watched Colors and tagged him in. And then Neil popped up and he was like, oh, worst theme song ever. I'm like, shut up. And he was on about the Ice-T track.
Yeah.
The Colors. I'm not going to listen to it on my iPod, but it wasn't written for me. So, I'm a pasty white dude from Scotland. So what the hell? And Neil was like, oh, it's terrible. I'm like, Neil, shut up. So then he was tagging me in on it and a YouTube clip with the song. And I'm like, shut up. So I just sort of let him have his thing because I don't want to upset Mr. Bush.
Right.
So, but it's a good film. So I rewatched that one. So I've been digging down into like the 80s and late 70s and stuff like that.
There's some awesome stuff from back then. I think you can tell a story with more freedom than you can certainly within the last 2 years, because everything has to be so politically correct and you have to have everything just vanilla enough so that you don't offend anybody, but you can make your money back. So
whereas you go back in the day, but I think it more ties into what you were saying about going back into your comfort zone and going, I'm going to watch something that I'm 99% sure I like. Because there's always that chance you go back and you go, I'm going to rewatch Sharky's Machine because it's amazing. And you're like, oh, yeah, no, it's really not. I don't like it anymore. Get rid of. So there's always that 1% chance that may happen. But so far, so good.
The music in Sharky's Machine, Doc Severinsen did, I think, most of it. But anyway, some of it was really good. Some of it more jazz, some of it more jazz rock blues. Versus Runaway, which at one point it was just like, we can't afford a score, so we're just gonna have this dude with his Casio go.
The mid 80s synth score. It's a futuristic movie, not a problem. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's just put the cat on the Casio keyboard. It runs up and down and record that stuff. It's done.
Yep. Meanwhile, oh my gosh, man, the chick on the Hot Planet,
Tracy.
With the name, man. But the movie, I don't know why I'm spacing on
Rogue Warrior. Rogue Warrior, Robot Fighter.
Robot Fighter. Thank you. So anyway, but that has an amazing score. That has an amazing score, man.
Rhapsody of Fire.
I can't remember at what point you or Neil or somebody recommended it, and I bought it on iTunes and have enjoyed it. I mean, like, that's right up there with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which there is a little tie-in there, and some of the other ones. I mean, like, it's absolutely top shelf entertainment. Is that still free on YouTube?
It is still free. I think Neil's extended it a little bit more. I think he's trying to crash the internet or so. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's still there, which is easy work for me because I wrote a blog article saying it's free this week. So I just keep resharing that on every Friday going, and every Monday, still free. So there's also another film of his up there called Chrononaut on the same channel, which is also free. So
have you seen that one?
I have, but not on his YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
Neil gave me a big pile of DVDs when I saw him a few years back, and it's kind of strange because some of his films have had title renames.
Yeah.
So I've got this big pile of DVDs, and I'll go, right, well, I've seen that one, and
Right.
I've seen this one. Ooh, I've not seen like Alien Hamster or whatever,
Right.
and I'll put it in. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this one. It's got tripods in it.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, that's just a different name. So damn you, Neil, you confuse me sometimes.
Right. So was
But yeah.
that the same time where he left you standing beside the road with one of the Rogue Warrior rifles?
Similar time, yeah, which
Yeah.
is still a fond memory of mine, standing in the middle of England with a bloody assault rifle
Right.
next to a car. So that was
Right.
quite good. So I have some very memorable times with Neil. I'm
Yeah.
either in a car crash, which was fun,
Right.
assault rifles, touring with a rock band, you know.
Right.
So I'm doing quite well.
If people don't know, England is a little bit uptight about weapons versus like, the Western, side of America as far as just, but it's funny. I was watching there was some sort of news report or whatever where they were talking about knives now or on the, like if they think you have a knife and they were calling it zombie knives, but I mean, I've got huge knives and I've got small knives, but it even looked like if I was living over there, I could be in jeopardy for having small knives. And they will kick your door in and take your knife and possibly take you to prison. But I thought it was funny. Just my brain flashed back to you staying there with this fake assault rifle in the street. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because it's not a normal occurrence. I'm not saying it's a normal occurrence, people standing with assault rifles where you are, but it's probably more common in your state than it is in my state. It's
right. Oh yeah.
Neighbors would look out the window and go, "What the hell is going on there?" Whereas over there, they'd be like, "Morning, John." Right. It's fine. That's
right. Yep. Neighborhood watch. Oh yeah.
Exactly. I still have that assault rifle as well. So it's in a. I have to hide it in a cupboard because you don't want someone coming around to read like the electric meter or something. Going, let me just go away. I need to make a phone call.
Right.
Not good.
Oh man. So let's see here. Let me grab this right quick. Oh, I haven't even posted this on social media, but my birthday was last week. I know, really. My birthday was last week. So Michelle always tries to find me something very unique. So this time she got me a bone tomahawk.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if it would split somebody in half like the
like the movie,
but
yeah.
But I mean, like I could probably knock somebody out if I really wanted to. But it was a sweet thought. Yeah.
That is impressive.
The only downside of it is I was letting the dog sniff it and it's a bone. So they were like, oh, big treat. No. This is going up on the wall.
So what you don't want is the dog grabbing it, the dog running up the street with a bone tomahawk in its mouth. That could be, you could get into trouble for that one.
Probably, but they would just say I'm abusing my dogs by giving them an Uber treat of a bone tomahawk.
Possibly. So what else have you watched? What's on your list?
Gosh, man, Yellowstone has been quite encompassing. I was trying to think of what else. Michelle is watching. What is that show? Is it Americans? Where there's the Russian spies in the 80s?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've not seen it, but
yeah. She's watching that, and so periodically I'll walk through the room or whatever, and I'm just like, wow, that's a dumbass looking wig, and then I'll leave. I mean, so I'm like, she's not fooling anybody, and neither is he. Why are they running around looking? But I know you're supposed to pull that out. I mean, you and I can watch any of the Fast and Furious movies, and well, with the exception of some of the latter ones. But yeah I mean, like, parachute the cars in. Sure, I believe that. So yeah, but there's something about a wig.
1 to 7, not a problem. I will watch them. Any 8, 9, 10, I can watch because Jason Momoa's in it, and that's fine.
Yeah,
and Hobbs and Shaw's okay too. So.
Oh yeah, that was good. But yeah, I mean, like we finished up. On the Rome with Jason Momoa, which is on Max, and that was really good. And again, I mean, I don't know why it was. You almost felt like Max was going to go out of business or something because it's like, yeah, we're going to drop these 2 a week. Okay, okay. Oh, now we're done. But I mean, they were solid. I mean, if you like motorcycles, hot rods, and guitars. So
Who doesn't? Stupid,
yeah.
stupid people. That's who doesn't. Stupid people.
Have you seen the trailer for the Steve Martin documentary that's going to be on Apple
No,
TV Plus?
there's two, isn't it? Is it one documentary that's in two parts, or is it two documentaries? Because they keep saying it's in two halves. So I think they're going to drop two. I think they're dropping two on the same day. But I'm
maybe. But he made the same comment like whoever's interviewing about, I don't know if it was The Jerk or whatever, but he made the comment. If all the people who like the movie are intelligent and witty, and if you don't like it, you're a moron or whatever, man. It was funny, man.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm going to watch it. I'm a bit hit and miss on Steve Martin because I find him funny when he's on screen. Yeah. But when he's off screen, it always looks like he studies how to be funny. He meticulously designs everything to be funny, and it's like, can you not just be naturally funny like me and John are?
Right.
It's not that difficult. I don't do calculations about what I'm going to say. I just spew crap out and hope it works.
Well, I know that Masterclass is going to be asking us for our formula coming up, and you and I will teach a joint class coming up. So not a joint class, but a class together. So.
Well, I've been writing my masterclass on how to make a film, and it's like just pick a camera up and go film stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions? No. That's it. It's a very short, brief masterclass. It's like a TikTok. It's a TikTok masterclass.
And I mean, now you're carrying a camera in your pocket, so why not use it? Just shoot horizontal. Some people have given me footage to add to a project, and I'm like, hey, it's this vertical, right? What are we gonna do? But anyway, it's gonna look like the news, but okay. So.
Well, I will dig into my list. I rewatched 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies.
Yep, excellent.
So
man.
I watched.
Did you start at the beginning?
I did. I watched Casino Royale. Great film. Mm-hmm. Then I went straight into Quantum of Solace, which I will defend. Quantum of Solace. I don't think it's terrible. If you watch it back to back with Casino Royale, it works. If you watch it like totally separate, it doesn't work. But some of the best action scenes I've seen are in Quantum of Solace. And then they really are. Couple of nights after, I went into Skyfall, which is great.
Oh, one of my favorites, man. Yeah.
And then I stupidly went into a rewatch of Spectre.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's rough. I love the beginning. That beginning sort of tracking shot with the building blown up and stuff. It's great, but I didn't finish it. Yeah. I didn't finish a rewatch, and I've seen it before. I saw it at the cinema, and I quite liked it. I thought it's fine. It's not as good as Skyfall, but it's okay. But that's rough, that film.
Yeah, when you nail a movie like they did Skyfall, and then whatever's going to follow it up, it's just not going to be there, And I thought Dave Bautista getting into a little Lamborghini or whatever that car was, that he was like, it almost looked like something from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was just, driving and but the last one, what was it? The You Only Die Once.
No Time to Die.
Oh, thank you. I knew it had death in there somewhere. That was good.
Yeah, I liked it. I'd say I didn't go back into watching that one because I've kind of seen that recently.
Right.
Whereas the others I hadn't watched for a while, and then, to be honest, I moved on to something else. I'm like, Spectre has just broken me. It's destroyed my love for James Bond this week, so I'm out. But yeah, No Time to Die is good.
Yeah,
I do like that. So lots of Bond movies.
Well, that's good, man. Have you ever thought about going back and watching them all in chronological order from the very beginning?
I did that just before No Time to Die came out.
Yeah,
because I have them all on DVD, and I think a couple Spectre I've got on Blu-ray and Skyfall I've got on Blu-ray, but the rest are all on DVD. And I went back to Dr. No and watched them all just in time for No Time to Die to come out for home release, and then watched that one. So it's a great series to rewatch. It works. They're all good. Well, other than Spectre now, but not a fan of that one. That's just way too rough. It's too long. Come on, there's no reason that needs to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So are you going to rewatch Dune and then go see Dune Part 2?
Am I going to rewatch Dune?
Yeah.
You're presuming I've seen it already, John.
Oh yes, yeah. Wow, man. Did you see
I-
the original
Yeah, I've seen the
that
original.
had Sting? Yeah,
I
and
don't understand it.
Twin Peaks dude.
Twin
Yeah.
Peaks dude, Patrick Stewart's in there.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's very 1984. But no, I haven't seen
Yeah.
the first Dune Part 1. I've
Yeah.
owned it on Blu-ray since it came out.
Yeah.
And I don't like watching a film when I know it's just going to go, and we're going to pause for 2 years,
Right.
and then the second
Yeah.
part. Right? So I'm going to wait until Dune 2 is out on Blu-ray, and then I'm going to go, right, my weekend is Dune Part 1 on Saturday, Dune Part 2 on Sunday. But I will say that I've been listening to the soundtrack for Dune 2 a lot. That is an amazing soundtrack. So good.
Yeah, Michelle read the books and was so impressed with the first, like part 1 or whatever. And so, we probably go to the movie theater, which I haven't done in the last, I don't know, 2 years. It's been a while. So
wow.
Yeah. So I was gonna go see Argyle, but that's available digitally. So yeah, man, I'll probably just watch that at home.
Yeah. But from what I would try and go and watch Dune Part 2, because I know people who have seen it and they're coming out going, wow.
Yeah.
It's just, it's definitely a big screen film. I don't know if I want to watch like Dune Part 1 tomorrow and then rush off to spend 3 hours plus in a movie theater with other people. So I'd rather just sit and watch it at home in however many months. So, because I know I'm probably going to buy it anyway. But the soundtrack is amazing.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Did we talk Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first one? I've finally seen that.
Really? Man, yeah, that was really good.
Yep, really was.
Yeah. So you going to watch the second one?
I think so, but I've heard that the second one ends like, I'm going to come back in a couple of years. So I don't know.
I wasn't going to bring that up, despite the fact that you just said you didn't want to watch Dune and then, have that, the Empire Strikes Back ending thrown in your face.
The Empire Strikes Back ending I'm fine with, because to me that feels like closure.
Right.
But also,
part of it, and,
with Empire, it's like, okay, so Han Solo's gone off in carbonite because we don't know whether he's going to come back for Jedi.
Right.
So we're going to go off and do something, and we'll meet you at some point when we've done some things. So that feels like a natural break between the next film.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got something like Fast 10, which is like, whoa, what is that? And then credits, you're like, what? I've got to wait like 2 years to find out what is that thing? Crazy.
Yeah. When I went with a buddy to see the latest Spider-Man multiverse movie, and it's so much visual stimulation, especially when you have every Spider-Man that has ever existed in any comic book, including a Jeep Spider-Man, a T-Rex Spider-Man. I mean, and you're seeing all the styles that they were, drawn in or the flavor of the Spider-Man. And so, I mean, it's really cool. And, but I got to near the end of the movie and I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up in 15 minutes? This is ludicrous.
They're not, John. They're going to wrap it up in 2 years.
My buddy didn't tell me. He didn't warn me. He was just like, dude, you will enjoy this movie. So, yeah, I had no idea. I didn't read about it because I try to, have a media blackout before I go see a movie in the movie theater. So, but it's definitely worth a watch.
I love the music. The soundtracks are really, really good. I've got them for both of those. But it's like Into the Spider. I'm not a huge animation fan. I'm not like, it's animated, I won't watch it. But it will delay me watching something if it's animated because I've got to be in a certain mood to watch it. And Abel, a friend of mine, he's been pecking my head for about 2 years. Watch it. It's really good. It's really good. And then I ended up hearing some of the soundtrack to Across the Spider-Verse. I'm like, I really like that music. I may have to watch the film because if it's got more of that music in it, I'm going to be impressed. And I sat down and I absolutely loved it. And I sometimes, even though you're watching an animated film, your brain sort of forgets that you're watching an animated film because you're just into watching Miles running around and spider hams and all that sort of stuff. It's weird film.
Yep.
But I really, really enjoyed that one. It only took me 6 years to get around to watching it. So,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Well, I mean, you'll probably just have another double feature when the second half of the Spider-Man movie comes out, and
Probably
yeah.
will.
But it was interesting since it is Sony. They even included some of the the movies in it too.
Yeah,
So anyway, it was solid. So I
that was
think
good.
you'll like it. I didn't think the soundtrack held up. I guess watching the visuals to go along with the music, and I know we talked about this already, but yeah, it was just not having the visuals because I didn't listen to it before I saw the movie. Then I was
Mm.
just like, man, I don't know that I understand all this drum work. I don't know that I understand, what's
Yeah.
being relayed. It's a lot of it's a lot of beats. It's a lot of mechanical kind of sounds and all. But I mean, it's damn cool. And watch if you haven't seen the like the guy who scored it and how
Yeah.
he came up with all the sounds. That's worth to watch on YouTube.
I shall give that because I saw Daniel Pemberton's name on it. I'm like, because I know him from Steve Jobs. He did the music for, which is quite an
Really?
unusual soundtrack. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll check this out because I like Pemberton.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he didn't let me down. So well done, Daniel. I'm sure you're listening and watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
But I mean,
I'm not.
you think about how many movies you and I have seen because we liked an actor, maybe, but I mean, especially if it's a director like Guy Ritchie, I will watch anything that he directs.
Mhm.
Will I always like it?
No.
Maybe not, but it's still I will give it a try, man. He was one of those inspirational, and I talk a lot about Star Wars, Alien, and Blade Runner, but Guy Ritchie and Robert Rodriguez, they were also big influencers of just get out there and tell your story your way. And if people get it, cool. If they don't, you've still, it's almost like the Eddie Van Halen, quote where he said, I don't make music for anybody other than me. If you like it, fine. If you don't buy it. So,
Yeah.
but it's when you can get your vision out where you can share it, it's awesome, man.
What's your ultimate Guy Ritchie go-to films? And if you had to sort of, somebody's like, who is this Guy Ritchie person? What should I watch?
I don't know, man. Snatch was the first one that I saw, but then I went back and watched Lock, Stock, and seeing what's the dude, Bullet Tooth Tony, the big guy. I can't remember that actor's name, but seeing him go collect money from the dude who's in the tanning bed was hilarious.
Vinny Jones.
Vinny Jones.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, man. And yeah, man. I mean, like the Russian in Snatch was hilarious, and you couldn't kill him. And yeah, man. I mean, these are characters that are bold. I think that's what's going to help me, want to see a movie over and over is the characters. And same thing with video games. I don't think they write video games with the strong characters that they had in Gears of War. Each one of them was unique, and they were all team players. And so anyway, probably start off with Snatch. I mean, like Revolver's good.
Revolver's weird. I saw that cinema and I quite liked it. People hated that film when it came out, though.
Yeah,
they were so mad at that film because the thing I remember about Revolver is the fact that there's no end credits. Just a black screen, and people were like, "They're all pretentious." Guy Ritchie, you're a pretentious dick, and they were really mad at him.
Well, I mean, and it was really deep. And what Matthew Vaughn, a producer on that, and and he was even telling Guy Ritchie, "This is crazy, man." I mean, here's Matthew Vaughn, who I don't think he had done Kick-Ass yet.
No.
So I mean, there's a movie script that really got turned down a lot due to certain things. But I mean, even he was, saying, "Look, I don't understand it, but we'll bankroll it." And then after that, Guy Ritchie came out with Rock and Roller, which that was much more.
I like Rock and Roller. I really like Rock and Roller. Yeah.
Yeah. And that dude, the guy who's the lead in that, man, he is everywhere, especially Apple TV. So The Servant and the latest season of what is it? For the Good of Mankind or For All Mankind.
For All Mankind.
Yeah. I did finish that up too. I don't know that I've mentioned that on any of the podcasts that we've done in this year, but yeah, but that was good. I mean, was what it was.
Did you know, before we move away from Guy Ritchie, did you know there was
Yeah.
a Lock, Stock and Smoking Barrels TV show?
Yes,
It's
and I
good.
started watching it,
Uh-oh.
and it was on Crackle, and it did not keep up with where I was, and I got frustrated because I'm like, I can't always finish a episode, but that was good, and it
Yeah.
had the dude from Harry Potter. What's his name? Rupert something.
Rupert Grint? Everett?
Probably.
Grint?
He was
The
on.
ginger one.
Yeah, and he was on The Servant. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Have you seen Servant yet?
Nope.
Oh, dude, man,
Should
it's M
I
Night,
watch
and
that?
we enjoyed it. I mean, like every season was worth it, and then I think the third season finishes it off, although it leaves it a little open ended. But yeah, man, I mean, like solid storytelling, and the weird shots are amazing too. I mean, you can tell that M Night Shyamalan or however you pronounce his name. That's one of those things. I guess I should write it down and practice it, like I do my voiceover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just say M Night, and everyone's like,
You're
M.
better
Night
off
guy.
calling him M. Night. It took me about 6 months to be able to pronounce Chiwetel Ejiofor. I could not pronounce that guy's name, and it's like, you can't mispronounce anybody's name in this day and age because they will kill you for being a big old racist. It's like,
Right.
it's a complicated name. Why is it complicated? Because you're a racist. Right. No, it's because look at the way it's spelled. Just because it's not John Smith doesn't mean you're being a. No, right. I'm not. So I'm like, right, I'm going to pronounce Chiwetel Ejiofor's name, and I've just nailed it. I've got that down to a T now. So go on, Chiwetel, keep making films because I can talk about them.
Right. That's good.
Quite happy about that.
But that, it's interesting. I don't think we in the 80s had the plethora of different names that, because I think everybody had their stage name for movies and stuff. And now people are using their actual names, or at least part of it. And they are global actors. And yeah, it's interesting not being able to pronounce everybody's name.
Do you know the one thing that, and this could probably get me cancelled, but whatever, I figure it's better than a finale for a podcast, isn't it? There was a story maybe 3 years, a few years ago, Tandy Way Newton from Westworld.
Yeah.
She was always credited as Tandy Newton.
Yeah.
Going all the way back, Mission Impossible 2 and all sorts. Yeah. And she came out, well, I'm not having a pop at her, it just baffles me. She came out one day going, my proper name is Tandy Way Newton, because for all these years, people have been saying my name wrong. If you're in a movie, why can't you go, excuse me, you've spelt my name wrong? Especially when it's something like Mission Impossible or Westworld or something like that.
Right, yeah.
But then the narrative sort of made it out that we were all to blame because we didn't know her real name. I didn't know, I know her name because I saw it in credits of Mission Impossible 2, Tandy Newton. And it's it's weird. We ended up feeling guilty for not knowing that her name wasn't what it was on the credits of the films.
Yeah.
And so this whole sort of people go, no, I'm now called this. You're like, I didn't get a newsletter. Forgive me.
Right.
So
there's a buddy of mine, Davis Osborne, and I've called him Oz for quite some time, but he's an actor and he's been in a lot of different movies, and he was in The Conjuring 3 as the lead demon until they rewrote the whole thing and threw him out. And there were some other demons that he led, and they were all gone too. So they could,
they got exercised. They exercised.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
But the first movie that we did with him in it, I directed, and oh man, I can't even remember what it was originally called. I think it was Mansions in Heaven, but it was my first feature film that I directed. And it had nothing to do with the John Cougar Mellencamp song. And Dexter just liked it, right? The name. And but anyway, I don't know why I misspelled his name. So his is so I did the Osborne, like Ozzy Osborne. And he didn't correct it. Well, then we did a short film and he didn't correct it. Then we did another movie. And anyway, so 3 times I have not put it in there correctly. And IMDb IMDb even picked up on it. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, this Davis Osborne guy. And anyway, he told me one time, years later, and he was like, my name is spelled Osborne. It's like, what? Wait a minute.
Why didn't he correct you?
I don't know, man.
Did you not go, why?
He is such a humble guy, and I think he didn't want to hurt my feelings that I had done it wrong or whatever. But I mean, it's just like,
he'd rather wait 20 years to make you look like a dumbass. Right. Well done, Ozzy.
That's right. But I mean, God. When you've done the movie, you own the movie. Then I mean, like, I'll redo the credits for somebody if it's like that. I mean, so yeah. But we did a podcast. He was one of my one-on-ones. I think it was the first or second one I did, but it was the summer before the movie was supposed to come out. And he was so excited, and there were certain things he couldn't talk about because, plot related stuff. But he was so excited. And then I still remember him calling me up and going, man, they just cut my character out completely. Now, if you watch The Conjuring 3, he does play, because he and the director had, they really became friends. And the director really felt bad that the producers had cut him out. James Wan did. And so anyway, there is a scene, I can't remember if it's in a psych ward. Anyway, it's in some spooky venue. And Davis is laying on one of the gurneys, and he sits up and sings at whoever walks in. I can't remember. Anyway, but so, I mean, you do get to see him, but yeah, man. Anyway, it's crazy how but that was his big break. And so he was just like, man, John, everything's going to change. Boom, nothing changed.
Isn't there the danger of, so it's like you've got Ozzy running around going, I'm in The Conjuring 3. I had loads of scenes. Loads. I'm the head demon. Yeah. And then everybody goes to the cinema and they're like, you're not even in it. You're full of shit. You would never in that film. No, I was. There was loads of scenes. Yeah, whatever.
Yep. At least he knew before he went. What was that dragon movie, Reign of Fire, that had Matthew McConaughey and
Chris Bale?
Yeah. Okay, so there was this tall guy who was in a brown leather jacket. Randall Carlton. So we had him come in and be in a movie that I was producing, that a buddy of mine had written, and she was directing it, and I was shooting the thing. And so he was the big name. But anyway, he was telling, because we had seen him in Reign of Fire, and we could afford him because he wasn't in there a ton. And he was saying that he was in so many scenes where he was actually furthering the plot. And I can't remember if it was, surely it wasn't Christian Bale. Maybe it was McConaughey. But anyway, he thought that having another tall guy who was wearing a brown leather coat, distracted, and maybe people wouldn't recognize, the difference between the two. And so he went to the movies, and it was just like, hey, here's my big scene. What? Wait a minute, where did it go? So
that's bad.
So at least Oz knew in advance, and he could just skip the movie altogether. So
ouch.
Yeah.
So what else have I watched? I watched The Holdovers.
Oh, dude, was that not awesome?
That was really, really good. Yeah. We were sort of, it's the Oscars coming up this weekend, and me and Annette are like, go on, Killian. Go on, get away with that. Yeah. Go on, win that Oscar. Go on, you can do it. And then after watching Paul Giamatti in Holdovers, you go, I kind of still think Killian will get it, but if Paul Giamatti gets it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'll be happy for Paul. He was amazing in that.
Oh, he really was. And I want to know how they did his walleye.
Yeah, because that was weird. Because Annette said to me, she's like, has he got a dodgy eye? I'm like, yes. But which one? I'm like, I'm not quite sure, because it looks like, I don't know. But that's clearly, do you think CG, or do you think very clever practical?
It could have been a sclera. I think they've done that before, where, they put the, but that's uncomfortable. And so probably CG. But I mean, that increases the budget. But the whole movie was shot so precisely like an old 80s flick. And if you've seen the trailer where he at the end where he's like, I mean, he reminded me of the horse that got the heart attack in Animal House.
Yes.
in Dean Wormer's office. So
But if you watch,
I'm still looking for that. So
if you watch the holdovers at the beginning when it comes up with the titles and it's got the copyright and it's got the Roman numerals, even that is in the 70s. So it's like 1973 or something. So they've even gone down to those details.
Yep.
But yeah, we love that film. Really, really good. So
yep.
Is it going to beat Oppenheimer? I don't think so, but I'd be okay if it, if it did something. It deserves watching.
It really does, man. Because for me, when you go up against Oppenheimer, which is such a huge story, it's Chris Nolan. You've got so many huge things, and you've got a mega budget. And then, what did Chris Nolan do? Well, he developed his own black and white film so that it was. I'm like, what the hell did he not do? Yeah,
exactly. Man. That's my issue with Nolan. I like Christopher Nolan films, but when you've got like a cash cow that just never runs out of milk,
right?
Of course, you can hire the best people for everything, and So
Robert Downey Jr. gave a really good performance too. Being kind of. Because after Iron Man, that's, and we've seen him in a few things, but I mean, mainly it's Iron Man. He's smart, he's cocky, he's, and having his power usurped in Oppenheimer, that was cool, man. I mean, and it was a story well told. But yeah, when the people were out and they were going to watch the atomic blast, and they had their sunglasses on, and then the people that were in the cars, and they're like, "Oh no, the glass will protect us." And I'm like, "Dude,
will it?
You guys.
Will it really?"
Yep. The instructions said, "Yeah, man, okay."
So the best thing about Oppenheimer is the soundtrack. Love it.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So I pretty much have that and the Dune Part 2 soundtrack on repeat in a minute. So
yeah, I'll have to check both those out. The going back to the holdovers, it's interesting. My cousin who used to write, he was a showrunner for he was a one of the, oh my gosh, man, I just keep having brain farts. It's been a very long week. But anyway, he was one of the writers for some of the early shows like Beverly Hillbillies and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
There was just a pool. And it's like, okay, so we're going to knock out Beverly Hillbillies. All right, what's next? Oh, okay, I Love Lucy, whatever.
Mr. Ed, chuck some Mr. Ed in there. You'll
man,
bit of
probably.
Yeah. Yep.
But he has always believed that the credit should be at the beginning of the movie so that you will see who all's in it versus at the end, unless it's a Marvel movie and you have some little treats, right? You don't stick around unless you're like me and you who really do care who made what.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I need to get up with him and see if he's seen the holdovers, because that was definitely a nice nod to the past.
It was. But yeah, really, really good film. The Marvels, I think we've talked about. I watched a documentary called Thriller 40. And it is all about Michael Jackson's Thriller album, which is 40 years old now. Well, 40 years old last year. Really good documentary, because it covers the album. It covers the tours. It covers Michael minus children.
It covers
the video. It covers the video as well. So it goes into not as much of the video as I would have hoped. I would happily just watch like a 90-minute thing on the video.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was good.
Yeah.
So I've watched that.
Rick Baker is another one of those makeup guys that if as I grew up watching movies. And this is after, because I really didn't know much about him. I didn't go see It's Alive in the movie theater. My parents wouldn't have allowed me. Where the baby comes out and starts eating the doctors and stuff. Anyway, and then I think it takes a bus to downtown Manhattan. I don't know. It's been too long. But it's, it's kind of the opposite of Muppets Take Manhattan. But yeah, man, I mean, like, if I knew that he did the makeup effects, I was more into going to see the movie. Like, what was the Tarzan Legend of Greystoke or whatever?
Oh, yeah, Greystoke, yep.
Yeah, so that one, and then the Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg. That was another one that he did. It was his team, but yeah, man, it was really good. So, just in talking about the stimulus of what would compel us to go see a movie. If we know nothing about the script, yeah, man, Rick Baker, Tom Savini too, but Tom didn't have the I don't think he had put the depth of characters in his heart as like horrific beast like Rick Baker did.
No.
And then who did the Harry and the Hendersons Bigfoot? That wasn't Rick Baker, was it?
It could well have been, couldn't it? So I'm gonna have a look. I will have a look whilst I'm doing it. But I'm pretty sure. Well, let's put in Rick Baker and let's see all the stuff. But he's done a hell of a lot as Rick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, dude.
The Apes. Yeah.
Yeah. He is kind of the Eddie Van Halen of the makeup arena. I mean, Rob Bottin, Tom Savini, Dick Smith inspired all these guys, and so my hat's off to all these dudes. I mean, they do incredible work. But I think Rick
Men
Baker,
in Black, The Grinch, Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah. Yep.
Escape from LA. Woohoo. The Frighteners, Nutty Professor, Batman Forever. Welcome to the podcast episode where I'm just reading out Rick Baker's filmography. The Rocketeer, Beauty and the Beast, the TV show, Gorillas in the Mist. That's some seriously good work in Gorillas in the Mist.
Yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons.
There you
well
go.
Done.
There's just something about he allows the character or the actor to emote through the character. And I think about some of the fun stuff that Tom Savini did too. So there's no diss on that. I came, I've got Tom Savini's book too. So, but yeah, man, it's just, that's what I wanted to do when I was in high school, is to do makeup effects, do the practical kind of stuff. And then I started writing, and then that just led me to where I am now. But yeah, man, I did cast. That's something I should send you. I've got a cast of my face. It's just to be something weird you could put right above Neil's machine gun. And
I'd probably just do some podcast when you're not able to podcast. I'll just go. So John, what have you watched? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you've watched Gorilla again. Wow, how many times is that, John? 47 times. Crikey.
Parts of that movie surprisingly still hang, they're still relevant and still make me laugh. And then some of it's just like, holy shit, man, I would be canceled so fast. Back in the day, man, it's like Borat. Who cares, man? Let's be obnoxious and make people laugh.
Exactly. Yeah. I think people should be able to still watch a film like Blazing Saddles going, that was made in the 70s.
Right.
Yes, it's offensive. If it was made now, it would offend me and it would get cancelled. But it was made in the 70s, so it's okay.
Right.
But they don't. They just get mad at stupid shit.
Yeah.
Because they're all crazy.
But I mean, you have to admit, that would be a pretty good punk. Take a lot of the people who would be offended by it and then say, okay, we're going to watch this great movie on climate change and how we're going to prevent it by eating nothing but bean food. And then throw that in and just see what happens.
I would love to sit people down and, if they'd never seen Blazing Saddles and they didn't know what it was, sit them down and go, this is a new film that's coming out in the summer, made to look like an old film, but what do you think? And just, I think some people's heads would explode.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was that one dude who punched out, what was it, a horse or a cow?
Yeah, horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was was it Mongo, I think, wasn't it? His character, Candy Grab from Up Bang. Yeah, I love that movie. It's great. It's offensive, but I don't even think it's offensive. It's just because it's laughing at itself.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like Cartman and the gang on South Park, and I mean, they are relentless. They will make fun of everybody until everyone is offended they have not done their job. So, yeah.
How do they get away with it, and yet other people don't? What do you think with South Park?
I think the South Park guys were riding a wave where people thought, well, they're very offensive and we should rein them back, but they're making us a lot of money and this wave is going to end, right? But this is one of those big waves that they, have continued to ride.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched South Park or Family Guy in a while, so I'm not current, but I can't imagine that they changed their flavor and were less obnoxious.
So. No.
Yeah. And then Team America. I mean, what a nice family film that is. I am kidding. don't watch it and send me hate tweets. So
do watch it. It's got one of the best romance scenes ever. It lasts about 5 minutes, and it's a little bit of nudity,
Right.
but you know, it's fine. You'll be fine. Watch it with your kids. Yep.
Yeah. There are so many funny parts in there. Anyway, I'm not even going to touch on any of them because
Describe
it's
some of them
hilarious.
to me, John. Describe some of these scenes in detail.
I started watching it with Michelle, and we got to I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was anyway. It involved blowjobs, and that was when I was like, my wife is so innocent, and she was. I mean, like she was watching it just for me, but she was mortified the whole way in, and I'm like, this is the same beautiful woman who watched Deadpool, and we both laughed our asses off. So
Yeah.
I mean, like Calendar Girl and the proposal scene, and then there's Team America, but. No, it was just a whole new level of, and so, but I mean, periodically we were going down the road and I just played the theme song. So, at least she was familiar with that.
And if in doubt, just blame Canada. Apparently,
That's
it's their fault, isn't
it? Yep.
Well, I have finished watching both seasons of the remake of V.
Yeah.
Which was okay. I thought it was fine. It sort of ends on a cliffhanger, but not one of those Fast 10 type cliffhangers where you're like,
right.
what?
Yeah.
But
I think
it's
the
fine.
show was canceled, wasn't it?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
did they allow it to finish?
No, they didn't allow it to finish. They just went, nope, you're never coming back ever. So,
right.
Brilliant. But it was good. It was weird, though, because they cast Jane Badler, who was Diana in the original V, in a role as a visitor called Diana in the remake, but it's not the same Diana. So anybody who was watching it like, oh my God, they've got her back. Well, they've got the actress back, but it's a different character with the same name. So that was kind of a stupid thing to do, because you would think, well, this is clearly a remake, because Planet Earth's like, holy shit, aliens have come. Whoa, that's weird.
Right.
Well, if it was a sequel, they'd be like, oh crap, they're back again.
Right.
So it was a reboot, but so that was an odd bit of casting, but it was good.
Well, I guess that's kind of like Richard Hatch being on the remake of Battlestar Galactica, but not as his old character. So, wasn't he a reporter or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, he was some sort of reporter and ended up trying to be a politician or something like that. But
there you go.
But it was fine. So I watched that. I'm just very excited about the Crow remake that's coming out soon. Are you excited about that, John?
I'm gonna watch it, man. I'm a fan of the actor who's playing the lead, and I mean, The Crow was based upon, I think it was either Dark Horse or DC Comics. So I mean, yes, Brandon Lee was phenomenal, and it was an '80s movie. And who was the dude who was the bad guy?
Michael Wincott.
Yeah, there you go, man. I would tear my voice up if I just talked low like that the whole time.
Would.
It's like you need reverse helium. Yeah, but I mean, he's just seems so comfortable with it. But yeah, man, I mean, like, so that was good. I'm sorry that Brandon Lee was shot during the filming of the movie. They still pulled it off. I mean, like, the accolades to that. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm interested to see what it'll be like, man. It's not, like when Kathleen Kennedy was saying, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna do my version of Star Wars. Hey fans, sit and spin. So yeah, and so I was a bit pissed, but I mean, whatever, man. I didn't like the last three movies anyway, so whatever, man. I've got my 6. It's kind of like if Deadpool sucks, Deadpool 3. I've still got 1 and 2, man.
They've been ruined, John. If Deadpool v Wolverine is terrible, then you can never watch the first or second one again, because they're dead. They are just dead and buried.
Right.
Apparently, that's the rules of the internet, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But I love The Crow, the 1994 one. I saw it at the cinema.
Dude, I thought it was made earlier than that. That is crazy. But you are correct.
94.
And, as always, Stuart. And but yeah, that was shot in Wilmington in North Carolina, out at De Laurentiis Studio, which is now Screen Gems. So, random. Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that one. I knew who Brandon Lee was because he'd done Rapid Fire, he'd done Showdown in Little Tokyo
Yeah.
with Dolph Lundgren previously, obviously
Right.
son of Bruce Lee. So all that came out in interviews.
Yeah.
Brandon was tragically killed. The film came out. I think a lot of people went to see it because they knew it was the Heath Ledger effect, and the Fast 7 effect. People went, how are they going to finish this film? I'm morbid, I'm curious, I'm going to go watch it. And they discovered in all the cases that it was a good film had been salvaged out of all that.
Yeah. And I mean, back in the 90s, they didn't have the digital toolkit that they have now. So yeah, man, back then especially. And then who was the actor who was in Gladiator who died? The older guy.
Oliver Reed.
Yeah. And we didn't know how they were going to pull that off, but it was very believable. And I don't know if it was an ILM thing or whatever, but yeah, man, I mean, solid stuff. And now it's just taken for granted. It's like, oh yeah, well, that guy blew up, we'll replace him with a digital double and no one will be the wiser. So,
and I think you can obviously look up to see which scenes in The Crow were done with body doubles, because there's a lot of shooting from the back of the head, and then there's a shot where he looks through the glass and it's a cracked glass, so that's a digital effect. Most of The Crow had been done. I don't know what the percentage was. It was probably about 90% or something. So there was a very small bit that they needed to do. They finished it. Film came out. It was a good film. It's become a cult film over the years. Now we're getting a remake. And a lot of the internet are really mad. They're really angry about it because they're like, don't remake a classic.
Right.
It's certainly been remade, sort of. There's been a bunch of sequels, but they don't mention those.
Did they was there not a TV series as well?
There was. I wrote them down. So in 1994, we got The Crow, the Brandon Lee one. 1996, we got The Crow, City of Angels, which is god-awful.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. That was kind of like Butterfly Effect too, right?
Yes, it was
it was
a quality drop like that.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, hey man, people will buy it anyway. So carry on with your
or Donnie Darko and then S Darko.
Ooh, right. Yeah.
Rough.
Which if anyone is wondering, the S doesn't mean hope. The S means shit.
See, same answer. We know we're on the same wavelength.
Right.
The year 2000, you get The Crow Salvation. As a film on its own, it's not bad. As a remake, sequel, whatever to The Crow, it ain't good. 2000, I have no idea.
Okay,
that's how much I paid attention to that one. I watched.
You made your list, yeah.
It's got a good soundtrack. 2005, we get The Crow, Wicked Prayer. Never even seen that one.
That was the one where Danny DeVito played the Crow, right?
It probably was. And then in 1998, so we're jumping back, for one season, we get The Crow, Stairway to Heaven TV series starring Mark Dacascos.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
He's like a martial artist. He was in, he had like a small part, I think, in one of the John Wick movies, I remember out there. He's a name. He's a name for these sort of direct-to-video martial art movies. That were good. So direct-to-video isn't a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Right.
So, but then the internet are like mad. They're going, how dare you touch The Crow? Leave it alone. It's been redone loads of times already.
Yeah.
How is it a bigger issue now? Because they just don't know about these sequels and TV shows.
Yeah. Did anybody bring up the fact that the star, and I'm just spacing on his name,
Skarsgård,
that he's played a clown before? You know what I mean?
No.
Because he was in it, man. No one sees, and then what was that? There was a TV series that he was in where he played, I think he was a vampire. I don't think he was the wolf.
No, that was different. That was his brother, True Blood.
Oh, this was actually, it had, oh my gosh, man. I should have just made notes for my notes. It was something Lane or something, but it had, oh my gosh, I
think I know which one.
I keep wanting to say Mulberry Lane, and that is so not there. But it was vampires and werewolves, and the werewolf, he would turn in, he would kind of like shed his skin and he'd be a werewolf, and then he'd shed
Yeah,
that
yeah.
skin and come back to being human.
I
And
remember that. It had something to
yeah,
do with Eli Roth.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yep,
look that one up now because that'll bug me. I
yeah,
know it's a 2-word title, and it
yeah,
sounds like Cherry Tree Lane, but it's not. But it has that sort of thing, or
yeah.
something manner or something like that. I know it's gonna really bug me, and I don't really want to remember it at 4 o'clock in the morning and wake up screaming, going, "It's such and
Right.
such." It's not. No, no. Hemlock
Yep.
Grove.
Hemlock Grove. Thank
That was
you.
2 words.
And
Here we go. I
there.
got that right.
Yep. Yeah,
That
but
was a good show.
2 syllables though, it throws you off, right?
It
Yeah.
does.
But that was, I think, the first thing I'd seen him in. And yeah, I mean, he comes from a very talented family. So when he played Pennywise, I just thought, man, that's a waste, but he did an excellent job.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does in The Crow. And then what was his brother Skarsgård was in that Barbarian movie or something where he was drinking blood, seeing the dead, and killing lots of people. So
I'm not looking that one up. You can find out without yourself. But yeah, I think I put a
yeah,
posting up going, you can like the 1994 one, and you can
right.
like the 2024 one, and it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay to like both. Or if you
yeah,
don't like one, you can like the other. It's all good.
right.
And I got a lot of likes and people going, I agree. I
Yeah,
was hoping the trolls would invade it and I'd get some, go viral or whatever, but no, it didn't happen.
right. Yeah.
But you can like
That's one of
both.
those things, man. I mean, it's like some food that you have been told that you wouldn't like because
Yeah.
someone knows, but then you try it and you're like, wow, man, this is really good. So,
Yep.
or you could try it and go, no, I really like the other way. I like the
Yeah.
other kind of, pizza or whatever. So,
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but the remake of The Stand, the Stephen King one.
Yeah. Which
I love the original one, the 1994 one, which is 40 years old, which is 30 years old.
Skarsgård's in there too, man.
He's in the remake, and I watched the remake, and I'm like, it's okay. I'm gonna rush back to my Mick Garris one though, because I prefer that one, and it's fine. It's okay. It hasn't ruined it. I didn't watch the Mick Garris one going, oh god, this remake's killed it. It's just totally destroyed my favorite thing ever. It hadn't. It's still there, intact and everything. It's great.
What about there was The Shining, and then there was the remake of The Shining, and then there was Doctor Sleep, which was, really, to me was connected with the original. But anyway, it's one of those things where until you see it, who's to say what's good, and you may see things that you like in it. So
I like the Kubrick Shining as a movie.
Yeah.
I prefer the Mick Garris miniseries as an adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
And Doctor Sleep's fine because it works as both. Yeah. It's a very clever thing where it's a sequel to the movie, the Kubrick one, but it's also a sequel to the book, which isn't connected to Kubrick. So, Mike Flanagan did a damn good job on that one.
Yeah, man. Flanagan. I didn't see whatever the latest Netflix series he did.
House of Usher or something, isn't it? I've not seen it.
There you go, man. It always has to have house or mansion in there, I think. But I mean, he is just a really good storyteller. What was the one with the vampire and it was up in Maine or something, and that he did another Netflix series. Once again, has his wife Kate in it.
Because he's done like 3, isn't he? And I've only seen one of them. I saw part of the first one, which was like a haunted house with a kid from E.T. in it, who's about 40 now. So I saw some of that one.
He uses in everything.
Yeah. And then I didn't see the second one, and then I've not seen House of Usher either. Too much stuff to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous.
This one it was like a Nosferatu character in there. But it was really good. Again, I like the horror tales that are told in a way kind of like the old school ones, where they can be creepy and they don't have to be so I don't need to see people, exploding every other, scene. So,
I saw people exploding. I watched a film called And it's a horrible title. And I mean horrible in a, why would I want to watch a film with this title? But I ended up watching it anyway. And it's from 1981, and it's called Nightmare in a Damaged Brain. Doesn't that sort of title just make you think, oh, family night, we're going to gather around kiddies? And so it's one of the video nasties from the early 80s. Yeah. And it was harsh. There was a little kid axing his parents, chopping heads off, and so people were literally exploding in that film. And even watching it in 2024, it was still stomach churning. And it was made in 1981. Because I'm a bit of a lightweight when it comes to stuff like gore and whatnot, but it's like, good. No.
Yeah. Back, I guess, the one thing that helped me in the 80s with the whole gore side of things was that I wanted to do those practical effects. So I was always looking at it from the viewpoint of how did they do it? I was disassembling things and, where did they hide the tubing and all this stuff? And versus all the girls that I went with to these movies, they, turned my short sleeves into long sleeves and, they were so scared, man.
But if you like your practical effects and your makeup and stuff, Nightmare in a Damaged Brain is a really good film to go back and watch that. Because apparently on the interviews when they were doing the press tours back in the 80s, the director was like, we had Tom Savini doing all our stuff and he was a supervisor. And Tom Savini was then going around going, no, it wasn't. I visited the set a couple of times, but I didn't do the effects. Right. So it does look very Savini-ish.
Gotcha.
So some of those effects are probably pretty cool, but it's just like, really, do I need to see people getting axes through their heads and whatnot?
I mean, like, I think with each movie there was just something else cool, some way to dismember people or whatever, like all the Jason and Freddy movies and stuff. I mean, after a while, until I just lost any urge to see any of them. And then I was also thinking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. I think it was the first remake with Jessica Biel in it. And how Jessica Biel, I mean, there are a bunch of trailers, right? But yet she can always find the little waterfall. So we see through her shirt. If it's starting to dry, she's got to go through another one. But I felt bad for the Leatherface because, I mean, like, I think he had a crush. And then he's trying to be cool and he slips on the water that she had just walked through to refresh. And he falls, man. I'm just like, I'm feeling bad for Leatherface. And that shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't have sympathy for Leatherface, really, should you? Maybe I could do a crossover with Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Saltburn. So I don't know. It's in Saltburn where Leatherface falls over and then drinks the waterfall water. That could be a thing. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Saltburn's an interesting film. It's very good, but it's polarizing, shall we say.
Yeah. I haven't seen that. And then what was the other one that I was getting confused with? Saltburn, and then what was the other one where
Brightburn.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Very, very, very different films. Very different film.
Oh man. I'm trying to find the let's see here. Midnight Mass. That's the one.
Yes, that was the one.
Yep.
Yep.
And it had the kid from ET in it. And then it had nothing to do with mansions. So
no.
Yeah.
So the final two films I've watched this week are Coco, the Pixar film.
Yeah. How was that?
That is really good. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah. No.
It's all about the Mexican Day of the Dead.
Right.
So it's a Pixar movie about dead relatives. It's like really,
so is this a new one
good.
Or is this an older one?
2017.
Oh, so I have seen it. And wasn't Del Toro somehow involved in it or something? Or he directed it?
So this is the one where the kid wants to be a musician. And his parents, his family are like, no, you can't be a musician because your dad was a musician and he ran away. And then the kid somehow steals this guitar from a tomb and then ends up in the afterlife and then has all these like dead relatives helping him and chasing him around and trying to help him get back to the real world. And you're like, kids are going to end up in therapy for years after watching that one. It's way worse
Yeah.
than Bambi. You know, Bambi, bang,
Yeah.
shot your mother, done.
Right.
Coco was just like relentless. Dead relatives everywhere. It's ridiculous, but really, really good
Yeah.
film.
But I guess being skeletons, they appear to smile.
Yes, they smiled. Yeah. So they were funny spirits and stuff
Right.
like that. And then the final film that I watched was Priscilla, the Sofia Coppola directed film, which has just come out. I think it was last year it came out. Just
Yeah.
dropped onto a platform called Mubi, which I've signed up for 3 months for £1. I'm all for that.
That's
£1,
good, man.
it's like 30 pence a month. That's the only
Yeah.
film I've watched on the platform, so I'll probably bin in that platform when it's done. But it was fine. It was all about Elvis and Priscilla Presley.
Oh, gotcha.
I could see a lot of diehard Elvis fans not liking that film because he just doesn't really come across as a wonderful person.
Right. But
But
did
it was
he
good.
did he do a lot of drugs? I mean,
No, there was no drugs. It was just pretty much like, hey, Priscilla, I quite like you. Brilliant. Can I go get a job, Elvis? Because no, you've got to be home. You're going to be home for when I come back in 3-4 months because I need you here. But I'd quite like my independence, Elvis. No, you don't need independence. So there was a lot of that going on. You're like,
yeah.
But it was good.
Did it cover the Naked Gun movies or the Police Squad movies?
No, unfortunately, it didn't. Maybe in Priscilla 2. Queen of the Desert or something you could maybe call that. But no Naked Gun movies. But we are getting more Naked Gun movies starring Liam Neeson, which I thought
really?
that is true. They're remaking the first Naked Gun anyway with Liam Neeson in the Leslie Nielsen thing. People are losing their minds because that's what the internet does.
Right.
Because they don't realize that Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor before he did Naked Gun and Airplane.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. What was the Hot Chicks on the Moon? I can't remember. There was some sci-fi movie that he did where he's serious.
Oh, it's like Forbidden Planet. Was he on? Was it that one?
Probably. Yeah.
I think it was.
I don't know why I always have to objectify and call movies, Hot Chick on the Moon, Hot Chick on the Burning Planet. Sometimes it is true.
I think secretly, not even secretly, I think the Hot Chicks like it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, why aren't they emailing you all the time saying, John, stop calling us Hot Chicks?
Right.
And I don't know. You might be getting emails saying stop it, but I don't think you've had any.
Right. No, not at all.
Well, therefore, they're fine with it then.
Yep. One of the producers for Waxing Cinematic did say, maybe you shouldn't say that. And I have ever since.
Said it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's like, people are going to go, why you can't call them hot chicks? Well, you can because it's a burning planet. Therefore, is the temperature cold? They'll be like, no, well, so that's what I mean. What do you mean?
Right. Are you trying to say that Tracy Birdsall isn't gorgeous? Is that what you're saying? Right. So you flip it and then you just make them instantly regret it.
Calling her ugly, John. And that's not, we don't stand for any of that nasty bullying in this day and age. And if you are not able to pronounce the word chic and you instead pronounce it chick, I'm not a grammar Nazi. I'm not going to go, actually, John, you're mispronouncing that word. So, Tracy, you are a hot chic on a burning planet. So that's how we will refer to you now. And somewhere she's going to be listening to this in whenever time, and she will be chuckling. So I hope.
Yep. Oh, she'll applaud. She will not send hate tweets. I'm going to continue saying tweets because I don't know what the X posts are. Because
X's. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Some of that. It's call them tweets. What's Elon going to do? Stick a chip in her head? Actually, that could, that may happen. What's your plan for the rest of today? My day's near enough done. It's 10:30 at night, and it's still freezing and grey over here and cold as hell.
Really? Dude, man, it's 70 degrees here. The sun is out. I've been running around in shorts. Michelle should be home at some point, and we'll have dinner and probably watch an episode of Yellowstone, and just hang out. Yeah, man. So very, very low key evening. How about you?
I am probably going to find something to watch. Not quite sure. It's obviously it's going to be better than Napoleon. So, there is that. But no, I've had a couple of days this week when it's like, you know what? I don't want to do anything, so I'm just not going to.
Yeah.
So I just
Good,
haven't.
man.
I've just sort of chilled out for a little bit and listened to some podcasts, put some music on, and you know, bits and pieces, and look forward to this.
Right. And I've been looking forward to this for a week, man. So, yeah, man, always fun.
So, any films that you've got lined up that you're like, I'm really excited to watch in the next few days, or nothing for me? I'm not quite sure what I'm going to watch tomorrow, but something.
You know, I think Roadhouse is coming out
Oh,
on the 16th. Isn't that right? Somewhere in there.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I will be watching Argyle over the weekend. So I'll let you know. I mean, I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
I might watch it as well, actually.
Yeah, that, and then you know, if we have a chance to watch the first Dune, so that we can then watch the second Dune, because I remember it, but I mean, it's always nice to have a refresher.
Yeah.
So you know, but I mean, yeah. Other than that, man, probably more Yellowstone. I think we have another 2 seasons to go.
Are you then going to go and watch the prequels and stuff then?
Maybe. I mean, Vanel says they're awesome, and I can't remember if Jake said that they were really good too. So, I mean, you know, highly recommended, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, and at least now it'll kind of make sense. You know, now that we know the Yellowstone, we can see like how the Yellowstone was born, and you know, I was trying to think of what else. I'm kind of, you know, as far as like an old movie. I think I may watch Scanners. I haven't seen that
love that
in a
movie.
long time. Yeah.
Such a good
Rob
movie.
Bottin did the special effects, but I don't swear by it. But
I wouldn't have thought so, because it was Canadian, wasn't it? And it was like super low budget for Cronenberg. I don't think Cronenberg would have been able to afford Rob Bottin, because that was like, it's 83, something like that. I think Scanners.
Yeah.
So that would have been after The Thing.
Yeah, Michael Ironside.
That's I think one of the first things I ever saw Michael Ironside in.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in V, and I'm like, oh, that's that guy from Scanners.
Right.
So then I've been a fan of Ironsides ever since.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scanners, it's a great film.
Maybe I'll watch Scanners and then Starship Troopers. Have an Ironside marathon. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yep, definitely. So I'm going to try and find some old films to watch as well. I put all my top 200 in date order on a shelf with the discs.
Wow.
So I can actually, it's weird if you've ever done that. You can track your life by looking across the shelf. So it's
that is cool though, man.
It's very strange to look at. So
the other night I turned on Star Wars, and like I haven't seen it a million times. But it was funny how that is now there are other movies that will take me back to the theater. And I remember, you know, the experience, but there's something about Star Wars. I remember the smell of the theater, the smell of the popcorn, the crowd, just everything. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting how a movie can encapsulate that moment, and you can time travel through your life. And I remember, you know, man, the good times and the bad. So.
Yeah, thankfully I don't have discs of the bad films that I own. I'm like, I don't need that in my life. So unfortunately, if Napoleon does get a physical release, probably not going to buy it. Sorry, Joaquin and Ridley, but you know.
Yep. And that's something we can talk about on the next episode, is this new way that they are releasing movies digitally only, and there's no physical media. My dad wants to buy The Boys in the Boat, the George Clooney flick, because that's what he did in college. He was on the crew team, and he went to go see it in the movie theater and thought it was awesome. So he, you know, it's like once a month. It's like, John, when is this coming out? I know you have your finger on the pulse of all this stuff. And I look it up, and it's like, may not happen. So
I will add that to my little list, and if I see any mention of it, I shall let you know so you can pass it on.
I appreciate it, man. I'm sure it's right there with Gone with the song The South over in England, possibly, where you guys have the physical media of everything, right?
Yeah, we don't have that one.
Oh, no.
Nope. Even over here, they're like, nope, that's enough. You can't have that one. It's like, come on, Disney film. They're like, nope. It has words and behaviors that are not allowed nowadays. It's like, yeah, but you know, we have Scanners where heads blow up and people's eyes fly at their sockets. Right. That's okay. Yep. That won't harm kids.
The next Mandela effect shift, Song of the South will just be gone. So yeah,
Yeah,
and we
people are
won't have
like,
to worry about
not
it
even a
anymore.
real film. I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, it's not. Look at my Disney list. It's not on there, so it's never
Right.
happened.
Right.
So, but yeah, you enjoy your day, John.
Dude, you do too, man. You know, I know it's wrapping up. So yeah, 10:35. So
I always try and hit the 90 minutes for you because I don't want to gobble up too much of your time.
I hear you, man.
So I always try and hit the time frame.
I hear you, man. But it's good catching up with you, and I look forward to next time.
Definitely. You have a good weekend.
All right, man. You too.
And I'll chat to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.